You're watching WALA Fox 10, bringing you more news more often. Now, from the #1 news station on the Gulf Coast, this is Fox 10 Action News, live at 6 p.m.
But if we have people who want to come in and cause disaster after disaster, they're going to have to deal with me in my office, and we will deal with them rigorously.
A stern warning for price gougers. The law will catch up to you.
And there's another victim of Danny's torrential rains. A treasure and staple of Mobile no longer stands. Good evening, I'm Anissa.
And I'm Bob Grimm. Those stories in a moment, but first, some breaking news out of Pritchard tonight. 3 men are now under arrest and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Those charges center around the firebombing of this apartment in Alabama Village early Sunday morning. A firebombing that killed 5 people, 3 kids. Dwayne Jackson, Waverly Lindsay, and LaCedric Lindsay are all in jail charged with the crime. They will have a bond hearing in the morning.
You pay for it, but may never get anything out of it to show that you do. It's insurance. But after a disaster like Danny strikes, you count your lucky stars if you stayed paid up. Fox 10's Kavitha Tummala spent the day with some folks who have come to finally pay the piper, insurance adjusters.
Sure have, Anissa. For many of the folks hit hard by Danny, the key word right now is waiting. The initial shock came this weekend. Rising waters, home after home ruined. Hundreds of insurance agents are heading to families with severe damage, but with thousands of claims like these coming in across the Gulf Coast, many are beginning to realize they have to wait in line. In the meantime, the best advice is to take lots of pictures, and if you can, begin the repairs on your own.
Many of us remember the pictures of Butch Wilkes and his wife sitting on their roof, desperately waiting for help as their house was swallowed by Fish River. But as he got over one shock, another greeted him. Everything he owned was wet and muddy, and he knew he had to act fast.
And I started gathering up what I could save and salvage and getting the things that could break and putting them aside. And you've got to take care of your stuff. You've got to save as much as you can.
But while he cleans, Wilkes is still waiting for his insurance adjusters, still in the dark on how much he'll get to start over, and worried it's not enough.
You have to tear all the walls out, remove all the insulation and all the flooring, and check all the structure and then rebuild from there. So it's not nearly enough even if you do it yourself, but you just have to do what you have to do.
While many folks wait in the mud and ruin that Danny has left them, hundreds of insurance agents have already blanketed the Gulf Coast. In fact, some folks have already received their checks, and in many places, repairs are already underway.
Marion Barrett is one of the lucky ones.
There was water all over, everywhere, the floor, the rug, carpet, everywhere.
But the water is gone, and adjuster Michael Bell has already processed her claim.
Repairs that will take place in here, plus the ceiling has water in it through the 3 main rooms of this house.
But, he adds, not everyone is so fortunate.
For some of the people, it feels like a class 5, I'm sure, right?
And for folks who worry they may have severe damage, it's important you tell your agent you need priority help. It may help slash your waiting time. Here are some important rules of thumb. Protect against further damage. If you have a valuable item that will be ruined if it continues to stay in damp and dirty conditions, take a picture and clean and dry it as soon as possible. As long as you have documentation, you should be fine. Also, make temporary repairs on broken windows or holes in roofs by covering with plywood or plastic until the insurance adjusters can get there and start giving you some checks and money to take care of it.
Anything else?
Sure is. If folks can manage to get together all their receipts, canceled checks, and proof of purchase, that may also cut down on the waiting time.
But since it might be wet,
we sure did. We ran into a lot of people who have that exact situation. So whatever you can get together, that's what will help you.
Thanks, Kavitha.
Danny's destruction will be around for a long time, and so will folks looking to take advantage of the situation, price gougers. Words coming from Baldwin County District Attorney are firm tonight. If you're caught raising prices, you'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
And we ask the public to be very careful about who they deal with during this time of recovery. We have a lot of recovery to do in this county. A lot of trees are down, there are a lot of homes injured, and there will be people in this area that will attempt to take advantage of it.
The state legislature passed a law in 1996 after Hurricane Opal. That law gives district attorneys special powers and responsibilities after a disaster to deal with unethical businesses. Despite this scene in the marsh of St. Andrews Bay, Dauphin Island's other ferry is about to be back in business. Joey Bosarge says the ferry's trip around the bay knocked over some pilings 4 miles from where it began its journey. And he says that's what brought business to a halt. Those repairs have been made, and you'll be able to catch the ferry at its regularly scheduled times. The Fort Morgan, the orange and white ferry you're probably used to, was not damaged by Danny. This casualty of Danny is about the size of Dauphin Island's ferry and a lot older. This beautiful old oak tree at Catherine and Dauphin in Midtown fell yesterday. Apparently the ground was so saturated from Danny's soaking it simply gave way. Nobody was injured in the fall. And just imagine what this tree has been through over the years, only to die at the hands of Danny.
We're going to have to move out. We shouldn't be living in it now. But right now we just don't have anywhere else to go.
And there's more flood damage in the city's south side. Residents of Mobile's Down the Bay neighborhood, just 20 blocks from our Fox 10 studios, had to make a run for it as Danny approached. The torrents of rain created waist-deep rushing water, ruining homes and nearly trapping some residents.
I knew I was in trouble. The water started rising so fast, so by the time my son got here, we went out the side door. It was just gushing in. And walking out here, it was up to my waist.
Residents are worried that flood relief may be slowly to come as emergency workers focus on South Baldwin and South Mobile counties. They did say a FEMA crew came to the neighborhood but never entered the homes to see the destruction.
As the cleanup continues along the Gulf Coast, Alabama's governor comes to talk with the people. In the latest in a series of town meetings, Bob James will talk about a plan that's been tossed around for months now, another Baldwin County evacuation route. The proposal would create a toll bridge to get residents from Pleasure Island to Mobile. The governor will also see firsthand Danny's wrath as he decides whether to declare the county a disaster area and ask for federal relief. The town meeting is tomorrow night at the Foley Civic Center. It begins at 6:30. While the governor gets ready to visit the Gulf Coast, most families hit hard by Hurricane Danny are already working, fixing, and repairing. Fox 10's Carol Hunter joins us live from Gulf Shores with a story about one such family and their quest to rebuild. Carol?
Well, Anissa, it doesn't look like the rest of the summer is going to be much of a vacation for many of the property owners down here at the beach. For 3 days now, they've been ripping out soggy carpet, and many of them now are in a frantic race against the weather and the next time it rains. It's homeowners' business at Reynolds Ace Hardware in Foley. In demand, plywood and roofing supplies. Folks doing whatever they can to get their houses watertight again.
This looks like pretty nice and won't hurt my back too bad.
This is not Kitty Cahoon's first trip to the hardware store. The list of cleaning supplies seems endless, as does the work ahead.
Paint, sheetrock, and roof. All my tin roof will have to be replaced, and but it's okay. It's okay. It's just another day.
Interior designer Brenda Johnson is already meeting with clients needing new flooring and furniture. For many, it's a race against the clock. Every day a unit is closed is a day of lost rental income. She's already told her suppliers this is an emergency.
Can you rush this? We've got some people just waiting on this because so much of this is rental property, so it really needs to get taken care of and put in, and we've got a lot of good people that work down here that, they're on the spot. They're trying to help all these people too. So.
Over at Fort Morgan, Nancy McKenna has much more to do than redecorate. Her house, only 2 years old, is back down to the framing, but she has not lost the one thing that drew her here in the first place.
Wouldn't give it away and wouldn't hesitate to do it again. I mean, it's worth it.
So even the inconvenience and cost that you'll be going through for many months now.
No question I'd do it again. I mean, I lived in Ohio and no tornadoes come and wipe out people, and you don't know and you can't get away, so I'd do it again.
There is hardly a house in the Fort Morgan area untouched by Danny's winds and rain, but the DeVinnies lost so very much more. Floodwaters ripped through their property, taking away a good bit of their real estate and leaving behind a new river. Like so many other houses along the beach, the Deviney's will have to be gutted and remodeled. But right now, a bigger concern is what to do about the beach.
Yeah, like I said, where we're standing about 10 feet under this old slab, there's no sand. What we got to do is figure a way to come back and put the sand back up under to support the foundation. And, really don't know how to do that right now.
Now, the Deviney's obviously will have to move some sand to keep their slab from collapsing. But here at Gulf Shores, you can't do that unless you have a written permit from the city. Anissa?
Carol, did you find anyone who was ready to just pack up and leave?
You might think so after all of this destruction, but amazingly, we've been down here for 3 days, and everyone we've talked to, and this is dozens and dozens of people, they've all said, we'll be back. It's sort of an unscientific survey, but we've sort of discovered that people who choose to live at the beach in the first place tend to be optimistic, hopeful people. They'll get through this.
Thank you so much, Carol. Homes weren't the only things devastated by Danny. The environment took it on the chin as well. Today, members with the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, or ADEM, were out surveying the devastation done to the ecosystem. They have a satellite system they use to mark the trouble spots. Many concerns, though, surround boats that sank and the possible contamination caused by oil and gas leaks. They will continue to survey the damage.
Danny not only stirred up the environment, he also boosted the mosquito population. That's just in time for a University of Florida professor to write off many of the repellents you use. Jonathan Day, who's an expert when it comes to repelling those pesky biting machines, says, for instance, those bug zappers, he says they're no good. Those citronella plants and candles, no good either, unless he says you stand in the smoke. Day says the carbon dioxide given off by humans is much more inviting for mosquitoes. His suggestion, a repellent called DEET. The best way of repelling the bugs, he says, dump all the nearby standing water and go inside.
Plenty more to come here on Fox 10 Action News.
Tonight on the FBI Files, the story of a gunman with a chrome pistol.
He pointed at the man and the woman, at which time they both fled.
Learn more about the suspect on Fox 10's FBI Files and later.
Songs and dance from some talented young students will be back.
Thank you for being a part of our team. Fox 10 Action News couldn't have done it without you.
You are doing a fantastic job. I have thoroughly just appreciated that new radar that y'all have. It is just great.
Thank y'all for providing us with all the information.
We keep listening to all of you.
Danny's winds and rains were right back at us. Some of those awnings came crumbling down.
Y'all have done a great job.
Fox 10 Action News covered Hurricane Danny like no other station. Thank you for being a part of our team.
Every Wednesday here on Fox 10, in cooperation with the Mobile office of the FBI, we ask for your help to take a dangerous suspect off the streets. Tonight on Fox 10's FBI Files, the story of a federal crime, carjacking. You might recognize Marcus Maddox, one of 3 suspects still on the loose after an incident that happened a week ago this morning. The crime happened early on the morning of July 16th when a man and a woman were sitting outside a car that was parked but running outside this bar on Michigan Avenue. Suddenly, 3 men pull up in what turned out to be a stolen Cadillac. One of the men inside pulls out a pistol and points it at the couple. It's believed that the man with the gun was Maddox. Nicholas Walsh told me when the couple ran, Maddox allegedly jumped in their car and stole it.
We're concerned about him because it was an armed carjacking.
2 of the other suspects, Roderick McNeil and Jamario Coley, were arrested within minutes, but Maddox is still a fugitive.
Maddox has a prior record for robbery, theft, and escape. So we'd like to get him back into custody as soon as possible.
Marcus Maddox is 23 years old, 5'10", 170 pounds. He has an arrest record. If you know where he's hiding, call the Mobile FBI now at 438-3674. That number again, 438-3674. And prosecutors have the option to press federal carjacking charges if they choose. Now take a look at this. You're going to be watching some surveillance video recorded at Friedman's Jewelers on the Beltline right before and during yesterday's armed robbery. You can see the man down in the lower right-hand corner. He pulls out a pistol, and then he'll start going through with the pistol, breaking the glass right there, and then scooping stuff out. Now, if you recognize anybody in any of these 4 scenes you see being taken simultaneously, give Mobile Police a call right away.
And an afternoon bank robbery has put 2 suspects in custody. This woman was arrested, charged with robbing the Bank of Mobile inside the Dell Shamps at Old Shell and McGregor Avenue. Another male suspect was caught later afternoon. Police spent more than an hour combing the neighborhoods in the Spring Hill area looking for the man before the arrest was made. Police say the two people ran into the store and demanded money. No one was injured during that robbery. Now, an update on last week's bank robbery at the AmSouth Bank branch on Shelton Beach Road in Saraland. Take a look at these new pictures from the holdup. Look at the robber's cap. Investigators say it's an old Miami Hurricanes logo. Also, pay attention to that large watch on the man's wrist. It's very large, spanning almost his entire wrist area. If you know someone who looks like the man in these photos, call the Saraland Police Department or the FBI right away. And we're right here right now to check with John Thompson and see what's going on in weather.
I tell you, we got some thunderstorms out there. We're going to show you that on radar coming up.
Now, Fox 10 Action News at 6 p.m. continues.
Well, throughout the afternoon, some pretty heavy thunderstorms have developed along coastal Mississippi and into southwest Alabama. Let's look at Storm Team 10 color radar and show you what's out there right now. We've got some showers in southwest Alabama, and looking a little closer right here at Storm Team 10 radar, we show you that there's showers over here into northern Baldwin County, pushing over into Escambia County, Alabama, and pushing on north toward Conecuh and Monroe County. So we've got some scattered showers out there, some up the river delta there, moving out of Mobile and into Washington counties and heading, it looks as though they're heading up the river there. The showers still are quite strong along coastal Mississippi, especially around Harrison County. Outside right now, our skies are partly cloudy. It's 80 degrees, humidity at 77%, and the winds are coming out of the south right now at 5 miles per hour. The barometer is falling, 29.99. Here is what remains of Danny. We've got already thunderstorms through the Carolinas, and more rain is on the way. Rain coming out of Georgia, moving into South Carolina, and it's going to track slowly but surely off to the northeast, bringing more rain showers. And, of course, once it hits the Appalachian Mountains, it's going to even squeeze more moisture out of that storm system. Montgomery at this hour is 91, so is Nashville. New Orleans has 88 degrees. You can see it's raining up in here. Greensboro, North Carolina with 79. Augusta, Georgia with 79 degrees. It's 99 out around Dallas. This is the way the map looks right now. A storm system coming across the Midwest with a cool front running down toward Nashville. There's Danny, that large L on your screen. We're going to take that L and we're going to push it on off to the north. It's going to be along the Mideastern, make that the middle Atlantic seaboard. Right there on the Atlantic, we're going to still be influenced by high pressure cell. That means spotty afternoon and early evening thunderstorms. That's the way it's going to look tonight. Then it'll be partly cloudy by tomorrow morning, and the low is going to be in the mid-70s with light winds. Southwest winds tomorrow at 5 to 10. Summer sunshine for the most part, to partly cloudy skies, and a 40% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Our high tomorrow should be about like it was this afternoon in the lower 90s. And here's the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday outlook. A high of 92 on Friday, 91 on Sunday, lows in the low to mid-70s. So a chance of rain, 30 or 40% mainly in the afternoon. Some of those showers out there will be dissipating over the next hour or so.
I hope the sun shines on the Bay Bears.
Definitely.
Did last night, and the Bay Bears not only can play the game, they teach the game. We have that story coming up. Stay with us. The Bay Bears and Mudcats will play the second of 4 tonight out at the Hank. Bears won the opener 7-2 last night. Then most of the team was up early this morning to help local youngsters learn the game. Don Hawes takes it from there.
Remember we talked about having our glove out front? Stand back. Right there. Right there. Very nice. Our first step is the most important step we're going to make. Okay? Most important step in the outfield.
Feet start. Inside part of the back. Break down. There you go. Well, even though they were here until late last night, the Bay Bears were right back at Hank Aaron Stadium early this morning. Little League players ages 10 to 14 were on hand for some up-close and personal tips from the future major leaguers.
It's fun. I mean, it's tough to get up that early. We're not used to it, but they're all out here voluntarily. They don't have to be here, and so they want to be here, and they're doing a great job with them, and the kids love it, and the kids love interacting with the players and being out on the same field that they see us play on every night and having some fun with us.
Drop, step, and go. Good. Good. Next guy.
What are some of the things they've been teaching you?
Field ground balls, running the bases, catching fly balls, and batting.
They pretty good guys to listen to?
Yes, sir. They repeat it a lot, so it gets it into our heads, but it teaches a lot of stuff that I didn't know some of the stuff.
But don't think it's just the kids out here having fun today, because you got to remember the Bay Bears players themselves were this age once, and they too can remember what it was like to get some big-time instruction.
I went to a lot of camps when I was younger, and I know what it was like.
big thrill to see bigger ball players, people you look up to.
It's good for them to come out and learn a little bit and experience what the players do, and I think it's great. I think this is the first time we've had this camp here, and I hope we continue it and things keep getting successful.
With the Bay Bears at Hank Aaron Stadium, Don Hawes, Fox 10 Sports.
Nice job. All right, let's talk about the big leagues today. The Braves and Cubs already have it in the books. Roll it up from Wrigley Field, and after Sammy Sosa doubled in the fourth, Mark Grace rips a two-bagger of his own. Sosa scores on the play. Sammy also homering in the eighth inning. The Cubs beat the Braves 3-1. They take 2 of 3 from Atlanta, and since the All-Star break, Braves just 7-8. Not exactly playing terrific baseball.
Not doing great. No, especially on the road.
Thanks,
Be right back. The kids at Whitley Elementary are making good use of a grant for performing arts this summer. Kirk Franklin would have been proud of this performance of his work. This summer school program was made possible by funds from the Mobile Arts Council and the Alabama Council for the Arts. It's called MAD, Music, Art, and Dance.
They're so cute.
They were just enjoying themselves.
My
That's what
gosh.
you're supposed to do during the summer.
Yeah. Well, that's it for us for now, but we're back at 10. We hope you are too.
Wheel of Fortune's up next. Have a good night.